Hey everyone, what is going on, and welcome back to today's video. In today's video, we're getting into another episode of the tips and tricks things that I do on this channel. So just passing on tips, tricks, just everything Siege related that I can think of to put into a video. If you have any suggestions on videos you want to see in terms of tips and tricks, let me know down below, because I obviously can brainstorm ideas and get stuff together easily. But if you guys want anything specific that you want me to make a video on, do let me know down below and I'll try and make it happen. But with that said, in today's video, we're going to be going over solo queue operators. I made a video like this, I think it was about 10 months ago now, so I thought it was about time I reiterate some of the things I said in that video and add in some new additions. And if you'd like to go check out that old video, it's in. I'll try and remember to put the link in the description down below. But if I don't, then I probably will forget. And anyway, we'll move along with that. So I'm going to outline 5 defenders and 5 attackers that I believe are good fits for a solo queuing player. Obviously, solo queuing is a pain in the ass, and having these operators should hopefully give you a little bit more of a beneficial pick as a solo queue operator and not a team operator. And if the main thing I mean by solo queuing is, even if you are solo queuing, it means you have no communication throughout the whole game and you are essentially soloed the whole time. You don't join the team's party if they invite you. You don't really associate with anyone. You just stick to solo. This is where this video will come in handy the most. And with that said, before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like on the video, drop a sub, notification bell, and also make sure to come check out my Twitch streams. Links in the description down below. I'd love to see you guys there. And let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the attackers first, and the clips in the background I'm probably not going to make character specific. I'll put in a few different characters, but it'll just be terrorist hunts behind, and there probably won't be this. I don't think I need to pass down gameplay of these specific operators. I just need to pass down why they fit in a solo queue role. So I think that's what I'll go for. But anyway, with that said, the first attacker that I have on this list is Nomad. Nomad brings a lot of utility to the team in a way that can be utilized well by a solo queue player. So she has access to 2 very strong primary weapons to start off with, the AK 74M and the ARX 200. These are 2 great primary fragging weapons that can fulfill you as a solo player. And before we get into anything, I feel like the role you should be going for as a solo player is a sort of flex, but on the fragging side. So when you're solo queuing, you can't really communicate with anyone, which means you are on your own in majority of the pushes, which will put you in situations where you're not going to be able to effectively be a strategist if you do not have other teammates with you, especially in terms of hard breaches with Thermite Thatcher, stuff like that. So the best way you can utilize yourself as a solo queue player is trying to take the fragging side of the team and get those kills on the board. And obviously, if you can't do that, try and provide as much support as possible, but in a way that you can only convey as a solo player. And I think Nomad fits both of those terminologies really well. She has great access to fragging capabilities, and she also has great access to support that can be done without really needing anyone else on the team to assist you, because you have the ability to put these air jabs down and they can watch flanks for your teammates even though you're not communicating with them at all. You just put them on common flank points. You can put them on the diffuser once the diffuser goes down. No need for communication there, it's just general knowledge. Stuff like that all fits in well and makes Nomad a great solo queuing operator. The second operator I have here is IQ. Now, IQ can be a great team player, but I also think she fits a solo queuing role really well. Now, the main thing you'll find in these people that I pick, they have good fragging capabilities along with individual gadgets that can be used as a solo player. So IQ obviously fits this perfectly. All three of her weapons are great for fragging roles. The 5.52 Commando, the AUG A2, and the G8A1 LMG. They are all really effective weapons that can be used for fragging. All 3 of them fit their own roles effectively. Obviously, the LMG being the more spray and pray, more ammo in the gun type gun. The 5.52 being the more concealed AR, and then the AUG A2 being the higher fire rate AR. So all 3 of these bring their own individual, and most people will have their preference for this. But any of these weapons bring just great fragging capabilities, along with their gadget, which is the electronics detector, which can be used effectively simply by just knowing how to play IQ, and you don't really need to have a team comms for that. If there's bandits, you go below and shoot them. If there's any electricity, if there's any gadgets that need to be taken care of, this is where IQ can come in handy, and it doesn't take team communication to figure this out. It just takes a solid, good IQ player, and most people figure this out as IQ players very quickly. The third operator I have on this list for solo queuing is the third attacker, is Ying. Now, Ying isn't really the most picked operator. Her gadget is quite self-centered. You'll find that most of the time you're stitching up your teammates with Ying. So you really want to use your gadget effectively to yourself. That is where it's going to come in handy the best. But she has access to a really great weapon. I feel like it is pretty underrated, which is the T95 LSW. Its fire rate is probably the only bad thing about it, but 46 damage a shot on 80 bullets in the magazine. You're really rarely going to find yourself running out of ammo in gunfights with this thing, which means you can take multiple gunfights without a problem, which is where she can come in, especially because this also pairs up with her gadget, which is the Candela charge, which she has access to. I believe it's 3 of them. I think it's 3 of them. I don't know. They're always changing it, but three of these Candela charges, which have large radiuses of just like a cluster effect of flashbangs. So if you are able to successfully get these into a site without having any problems, such as Jaeger, etc., you having those 80 bullets paired up with this can be really effective for site taking and also just clearing any sort of roamer if you know where they are. These Candelas can come in handy really well, with them having their different settings as well of how long you want them to delay for. You can really manipulate how you really want these to work, and teaming this up with just simple knowledge can really be beneficial as a solo queuing operator. The next attacker I have in mind is going to be Blackbeard. Now, Blackbeard is probably, he gets nerfed a lot. He's not the best operator, but he definitely still has a lot of solo queuing potential because I feel like his gadget mainly revolves around you as a player. So having access to the Mark 17 CQB and the SR25, which is the DMR, and then the assault rifle. The assault rifle is, again, it's got 49 damage on it, which is incredibly high for an assault rifle, but only 585 rounds per minute fire rate. So it definitely shoots slower, but it still has a lot of power in its punch. But still, overall, I think these weapons both really do alright as an individual. It's just really pairing this up with his gadget really makes it like excel, even though the weapon statistics aren't the best. So Blackbeard having access to the rifle shield, which is ballistic shield, this gives him a lot of utility as a solo player because it just gives you more room and flexibility to keep you protected, which means you can deal out damage as a solo player, which is what you want to fulfill as a solo player, which is where the rifle shield will really help you out because obviously your face is protected in 99% of the cases, except for that little bit above your head sometimes where you get shot at and you're not happy, but majority of the time you'll find that the rifle shield will keep you covered, which gives you the ability to fill out your fragging rolls as a solo queuer. And the final attacker I have on here is Zofia. She is the primary fragger I would say that I have on this list of attackers, and she definitely fulfills the role of just straight up doing your own thing, really. She has access to a self-centered, self-centered, whatever you want to call it, gadget, which will get you into locations that you probably wouldn't have gotten in, well, you can get into, but with ease, you can get into certain locations with this gadget. Also having the ability to concuss enemies as you push, which is something you can pair up with your fragging capabilities with her strong weapons like the LMG-E and the M762. I'm pretty sure that's what her assault rifle is called, indeed. But with that said, she just has a lot of fragging capabilities, and this is probably a great thing you want to have as a solo queuer. Now, that said, now we're going to move on to the defenders. I'm probably going to try and do them I've been doing them a little bit quicker since when I started because I don't want this video to be too long, but I'll give you a brief overview of why they fit into a solo queue role and that it will fulfill what I want to fulfill. So the first attacker I have on this list is Rook. So Rook is he is a support operator, but all of his support really gets knocked out of the round very early on. As soon as you put that Rook armor down, you ping it, your job's done. Now you are really on your own, and you have control of the character as your own player. So this is where Rook comes in as a solo queue operator, because the power he has in the MP5 and the range he has as a defender is very it's very singular. Not many other defenders have access to this type of range, and this is where you can really be effective as a solo queue player with Rook if you prefer to anchor down on sites especially. You can mix this up with your solo queue play style to kind of push it through and push as many just good anchoring as you can to try and keep the attackers off the site through your own solo queuing ways, which is a great way to showcase it. You definitely know what you're doing as a solo queue player, and the team might show some sympathy. I really don't know, but he's a great solo queuing operator for just holding down the site because his gadget is used so early on. The second defending operator I have here is Melusi. Now, Melusi is on the newer end, obviously, but she fulfills the same kind of role that Rook does. She has access to 3 Melusi charges, which you would generally put down around the site, which you can normally get done within the prep phase, and then you're on your own. You have access to the MP5 as well, obviously not with a 2x sight, but she has a lot of capabilities as a roamer due to her being a 3 speed, which can really be effective as a solo queuer because it can benefit the team, obviously, with the Melusis slowing people down and giving away intel even when you're not there, which is something you want to be able to do as a solo queue operator, benefit the team somehow when you don't have that type of communication. And Melusis can come in handy here really well, along with the fact that you have access to 3 speed and a strong weapon, which can really come in handy as a roamer to secure those kills and benefit the team off the site. Now, the next operator I have on this list is a Rooney, obviously the newest operator in this game. She has solo queue potential again because she is essentially exactly the same as Melusi. You put down your Roonies before you head out. You'll put them down all around the site, giving up precious stuff that the attackers will have to deal with, and then you are your own character once again. You're able to make your way around the map and deal this fragging damage that you don't really have access to as someone who has important gadgets, because you don't really want to waste these gadgets. Where a Rooney can get her gadgets down, and even if she dies can still be effective and benefit the team, which is again what you want as a solo queue operator. So having the P10 Rooney and the Mark 14 EBR as well in her arsenal means she has a lot of capabilities on the roam, and just essentially her gadget really is effective, and it can really help with team intel and also help with damage when people are trying to enter the site in a later time, whether you're alive or dead, which is a beneficial thing to have when you're solo queuing trying to benefit the team in some way. The next operator I have on here is the resident fragger, I would say, that I have on this list, which is Vigil. Vigil was suggested in the last video because I went back and watched that just before, and people believe he is a solo queue operator, and I completely agree. He has a very solo related gadget, which is the I can't remember what it's called, the ERC7. So it gives you the ability to hide from drones, which obviously fits into a roaming presence perfectly. Obviously, Vigil being a 3 speed as well, it really fits that role. And him having access to this along with his fragging capabilities makes him the friendly neighborhood fragger that you would probably pick as a solo queue operator, because his gadget really doesn't have any relation to anyone else on the team, which means you can focus on yourself, which is what you want to do as a solo queue player, along with the really strong loadout, which gives you plenty of potential to be a fragger simply from just having the weapons in your arsenal. And then pairing this up with his ability, which should give you a little bit of surprise attacks on the enemy if you use it correctly, can really be a deadly combo and a great way to solo queue frag as a roamer. Then the final operator I have on here, is, much as I don't like to say it, is Kavira. Kavira is a very great solo queue operator because you don't really need to have any sort of comms to play her, but you can provide all the intel in the world to a team simply by playing her. So where I'm getting at from this is obviously the interrogation. You are able to obviously interrogate people if you are successful with Kavira, and even without team comms you are able to get this interrogation off, and then the whole team, the whole attacking team gets tracked for whoever knows how long, and then this really benefits the team as a whole. Even if you're not communicating with them at all, you don't really need to call out, hey, I'm getting an interrogation. You get that interrogation, the whole team has intel that they didn't have before, which you can do as a solo queue operator perfectly. Which is why I believe Cav fits the role so much as I hate to admit it, because I'm not the biggest fan of Cav, but still, she definitely does fit a solo queue role, and I definitely would recommend it if you are solo queuing, because she also has access to a strong weapon set as well. The Spaz 15 can be useful for opening rotations and stuff like that to get you around the map, along with her impacts. Her M12 is a good ranged weapon, but definitely not the best. And then obviously the I'm not even going to try and say it, I get smoked. Her pistol, yeah, just a great all-around weapon loadout. I think it definitely fits the character, and it fits the solo queuing role really well. With that said, that's enough from me. That is all my top 10 solo queuing operators you can bring. Obviously 5 attackers, 5 defenders. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, drop a sub, notification bell, and also make sure to come check out my Twitch streams. Links in the description down below. I'd love to see you guys there. If you found this video useful, do let me know in the comments down below as well. And if you didn't, I'd also appreciate a comment saying who you think I should have included in this list, then we can have friendly discussions down there. But with that said, I think that's enough from me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.